Many years ago, I interned for the St. Vincent de Paul Society in the basement of a Catholic church in downtown Atlanta. It was late when the culture of nighttime life had given birth. Individuals full of insecurities, anger, and strife arrived at the door needing help. Not any similarity of issues or responses, every need was different and required a different approach. On one late night, a man entered at the door and sat in a chair across the table from me. He was rugged looking, dirty, and his clothes quite tattered. He kept his hands behind his back, and that was certainly concerning to me. But he began to share his story. He was an alcoholic and couldn't get help from anyone. He was denied by services repeatedly. He was drunk when he came to us in desperation. He had been trying to get Social Security disabilities approval. When he came to this part of the story, he pulled his hands out from behind his back. He laid them on the table in front of me. They were burned and still smoldering, actually. Looking at them made my stomach turn. Hours before he arrived, he turned his range burners on and drank excessively to inhibit the pain. He burned his fingers. They were black and bloody. I then made sure he was taken to the emergency room, and on the way out, he asked if he'd be able to get his disability. I told him he probably would. Desperation is the abandonment of hope. It's the feeling of being at the end of your rope. With utter hopelessness and discouragement, you feel there's no means of escape and no way to vent. Despair leaves the mind apathetic. Your mind becomes numb and your life becomes pathetic. Desperation is energized despair, vigorous in action and reckless in care. Dependency is a paralyzing despair coupled with deep sorrow. There is no hope for today or tomorrow. The absence of hope is hopelessness. What brings a person to such a desperate act? It was a life full of emptiness and hopelessness, and that's what became his only fact. Reasons are usually rationalizations, and we may never know the real reason, but we know the trigger that enabled his will. It was the alcohol with numbing effect to deal with the physical and emotional pain he hoped that it would kill. The abuse of alcohol is terribly destructive, destroying friends, jobs, lifestyles, families, and giving you a negative personality. It destroys your life and feeds on your despair. It decreases your inhibitions so that you just don't care. Nothing good comes from excessive drinking. The dizziness and vomiting are outward signs of an inward depression and an obvious sign of spiritual deflation. The abuse of alcohol will destroy your life. You'll lose your work, your home, your husband or wife. Can you really afford to lose what you now possess? Don't turn your life into a total mess. What you love and cherish is traded for a drink. When you drink, you lose the ability to think. To drink or not to drink, that is the question. Every day of your life, you make that decision. Choose death over life or life over death. We make daily decisions that affect our final condition. What we say and what we do affects others in life-enhancing or life-depreciating ways. Is your life inflating or deflating? So the next time you need a drink, smoke, injection, sniff, pill, or toke, please remember the desperate act of a man who made the decision to burn his hands.